All right. Going to call the council meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Mrs. Deputy Clerk, do we have a quorum?
We do, Madam Mayor.
Okay, all right. So the first item on the agenda is the review and approval of the minutes for the January 2024 meeting.
I'll move that we accept them as written.
Second.
Got a motion, Alex made a motion, Tom seconded. All in favor? All right. Next on the agenda is public hearing. We don't have anything for that. So the next item is the new business. We have ordinance 2024-01. It's the plumbing code for water efficiency, first reading. Brad, you want to explain?
Yeah, let me just explain that. Actually, it appears a little redundant, but if you recall back, I guess at the January meeting, we had adopted the resolution to forward to DCA, North Georgia Regional Water Planning, that we would adopt an ordinance in a form that was suggested by them. So Community Affairs, you can see in your notice, immediately wrote us back as we had anticipated and said this looks fine, go ahead and adopt it. All right, but the form of the ordinance that they wanted us to use is not in the same format as the forms of the ordinances that the town normally adopts. So rather than have to look at your current building code ordinance and go try and find something else that goes with it, we're going to adopt, I'm going to ask you to adopt on this first reading and then on the second reading, the ordinance in their form, which we will send to them, and the ordinance in our form, which will go into your code of ordinances, if that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, and I think you can see that in the first ordinance, it just adopts it, shows the A and the B, and then the A being their red line, the B being their accepted changes, and then when we get over to the second ordinance, you'll see how it adopts their changes as the exhibit, but it fits it in the way we did it on page 2 of the second ordinance. We show where you adopt your code, and you'd already done one amendment to the plumbing code, but then we came in, a lot of ordinances will have a separate section for amendments to the code, and so we added D, which is the local amendment code attached. Here too is Exhibit A, should be applicable within the town of Sharpsburg. So this puts it in your format. So it's a little overkill, but because of the way you've been adopting things and putting it online, we wanted to make sure we stayed consistent. So what will happen is current building code ordinance that appears online will be substituted with this. Any questions? Oh.
No?
Yep.
So we don't need to vote on this, it's just the first reading?
First read, but I would state that it's the first reading
Right.
for both of them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next, number 2 is the ordinance 2024-02, and it's building and construction code which is also a first reading.
So, and of course, in the meantime, if any of you have any questions, you know, you can give
Yeah.
us a call, we can answer those for you.
Good? Okay. Under old business, number one, we have the Sharpsburg Library. And Tom, would you like to share some progress
Yeah,
in January?
we've got, we got the software a couple of weeks ago to catalog the books, and we've gotten, so far, 400 books cataloged. That's right, I went there this afternoon and counted them, so that's good. We're gonna meet tomorrow morning and advertise some more books to get, so she's got some, backlog books to catalog in.
I believe she's cataloged them all.
Yeah, there probably are, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got, I talked to Hoopla today, and they're gonna forward me to, basically a contract for our electronic library. So that's in the works. Other than that, I don't know what else to say. We're on pace of getting it done here in the next couple of months. I've talked to the people about the benches, I've talked to the people about the outside benches, inside and outside benches, and I've talked to Lewis about the lights. So everybody that gave us bids and quotes, I've talked to them. So they're all, got everything stirred up.
Okay.
I got a question. Who is you keep talking about the Friends of the Library. I only know who two of them are. Who are the others?
Who are the others? Well, you.
Me?
Yeah, you, Blue. The Richards.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about the people that are, before there was this is confusing. Maybe, you were talking about the people that were there when we were supposed to have the previous committee, those people?
Well, the Friends
I'll
of the-
name them. Well, you name them.
Name them off. Well, just named off. Mary Teagle is on it. Blue Coal's on it. I'm on it. You're on it. April's on it. And about half of April's posse, who volunteered to come in. I say her posse, you want to...
I'll ask you later, never mind.
No, there's...
No, really, seriously, there's no point, because I think it's gonna be the people that will help clean up the library the first time we say this to you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, okay.
when we started.
Okay.
We started before, when you were still on the council. And before I ever got elected.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, okay.
So that's who the library, Friends of the Library.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's basically people who've shown an interest since then. It's, some have left, some have come back.
Okay, thank you.
Are we checking out books over there? Are we at that level of
Sure.
operation? Yeah, that's what I
Yep.
understood.
Uh,
Just wanted to verify.
I'm not sure you like the books.
The selection, the children's library?
I do have, we have set aside about 500 books for adults.
Do you want to give us an update on this, the Hoopla e-library? What does that give us access to as far as, is that something countywide that's shared, or?
Well, the county has a system that's parallel to this, and it's actually better. It's got a lot more books. Through this, you can get 750,000 book titles.
Okay.
You can get podcasts, you can get music, you can get movies, and it's a pay-for-you-go type thing.
Gotcha.
And what we'll have to do, once we get it and look at it, they recommend that you set such a limit for each person that's got a library card. So if you've got a library card, we'll give you $10 worth of access, or $15 worth of access, whatever we decide. And that could be 7 movies or 8 movies or whatever.
And the user can pay for more, but,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that
And
sounds
then
really cool.
we'll pay them $2,000 up front, and that will pay for roughly the first year of people's usage. One of the things I want to do, and we've talked about this, is that when people come in to the library and they want to sign up for it, if they're not city residents, we'll sign them up for the county's program. And that gives you, I say it's stronger, it's better. It has the ability to go into colleges and get their get the papers that professors have written, or
Mhm.
graduate students have written. So if you're doing research, you can access all that.
Okay,
We can't do that with this hoopla, but they can do it with theirs.
gotcha.
But what we'll do is we'll just, if somebody comes in, they want to sign up for hoopla, and they're not county, or they're not our citizens, we'll just turn them on to the counties. Anything else?
I think, no?
You want to add anything? Okay.
The next item is the formation of a library committee. Do you want to talk about that, Polly?
Yeah, I was asked, and actually before I was asked, I, observing back when I was on the audience as opposed to on the council, I think that this needs to be an official, there needs to be a committee that's an official part of the structure of the town of Sharpsburg. And especially since our budget now has gotten so large, it's a large amount of money. When it first started, it was little and not much money being spent, but now with the projected budget and the calendar 2024, it's $27,801, and that's a lot of dollars. And I just think there needs to be more oversight and more directly connected and more information before a decision is made. And I know it's always been brought before the council, and I know it's always been voted on. But it's just, because it's okay as is, I don't think it's the best procedure. And it's a lot of money, and it's government money, town money, and I just think that we need to be really careful. And what is it, like Caesar's wife, be above reproach, be absolutely sure that it's being handled correctly. And let me say quickly here, after I just said that, I don't doubt that it has been. And they've done a lot of good work, and it looks really, really good. I was in there today, and I pop in every so often, and that's not the problem. It's just that I think it needs more direct supervision. Oversight would be a better word. And that's why I would suggest a committee, approved committee and committee members by the town.
Okay.
Now, I can make a motion if you would like to that.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, can we discuss it
Yeah.
before you make a motion?
Huh?
Can we discuss it before you make a motion?
Yeah. Mr. Chief.
So, is this an email from Polly here? I believe, right? This is your email, Polly, and you had suggested the 2007-2018 committees be abolished. I mean, those committees were before my time, so I'm not familiar. Brad, did you look, do we have on the books formation of,
The only,
because if we had a library committee, wouldn't we have,
well, it did.
wouldn't we have public meetings and a chairperson?
So, all right.
So do we have the committees or not? That's what I'm
Historically,
asking.
the libraries always had what they call boards of trustees. Okay, the smaller libraries, everybody did. All right, Floyd or Julie found a set of minutes from a 2006 meeting where the trustees of the library accepted a $5,000 donation from Coweta County for the library. All right, so, but we could find no records of the original creation of that committee here, all right, and no records afterwards at that point. I'm not sure that I can recall exactly the discussion that went on, which was my first meeting that it was brought up, and it's in the minutes of a March 2018 meeting where a motion was made to form a library committee. All right, there was nothing to my knowledge done in order to accomplish that. Now keep in mind that there were issues that were going on. The city clerk resigned, the mayor had to resign, and we had Elizabeth became the mayor pro tem. There were other issues that were going on that were important. We were trying to develop a budget. We were trying to get millage rates done. We had temporary help from the lady who was former city clerk in Sonoy and was the Brookstown manager at the time. but we had to bring in some resources to do that. Quite frankly, I never gave it another thought beyond whatever was at that motion, because nobody ever came to me and presented anything that would need to. What we normally would have done was what Floyd Julie did later, was go back and see how was the library operating before that date, and what happened to that original committee. Now, I do recall from those meetings that Mary Teagle was on the committee, Donna Camp was on the committee, another lady that I think was
Kathleen Rhodes.
Yeah, but she was not present at that particular meeting, so we don't know who was keeping minutes. We assumed that Ms. Camp was keeping the minutes at that point. So that's what I said, we went back and looked, and I think Julie can confirm they were not able to find anything else directed toward that. So I mean, that's the thing. If you wanted to, we could go back and create a library commission or library committee that you would set the requirements for what they do, how they report to you. All right, so our assumption has been that basically, since nothing was done in 2018, Blue became the mayor, that essentially the council was sitting as that library committee and approving everything that was going on in the library. And of course, even a library committee is only authorized to do whatever you tell them they can do, and only authorized to spend money if you give it to them on what you direct they can spend it on. So it's there, but it's not like your downtown development authority, which is a separate statutory entity. So however, as I said, however y'all want to proceed, if that's the specific way, then, but as Tom said, there's been a group of people who've been working on the library issues for, the last 4 or 5 years, so, with council's approval of that. So, I mean, that's up to y'all as to how y'all want to proceed.
Can I ask you a question then? Are you saying that we could then, it's never been dissolved, so it's still there?
No, it's
So-
not there.
It's not there.
That's
Well, then
what-
why would we
it was
dissolve it
voted-
if it's not there?
It was voted to, well, technically, I can't speak to the trustees, I don't know what happened there. But, in other words, it was voted to establish a committee.
Yeah.
Now, the minutes never showed anybody being appointed to
They
the
weren't.
committee.
They were never.
So, that's what, at least they couldn't find any minutes showing who was appointed to the committee.
Right.
So from my perspective, while council authorized for it to be established, it never went anywhere. Now, there were a lot of volunteers who came in to
Oh,
work
yeah,
on
I
it.
understand that.
Yeah.
I just
So-
thought that might be an easy way to just let his present committee be that committee.
Oh, I think that's
Well,
perfectly all right.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. The Friends of the Library has nothing to do with the operation of the library. Day in, day out operations. The internet, phones, getting supplies, water, electricity, that's all budgeted, and it's been budgeted for years. The things that we've gotten involved with have been to go in and clean it out, clean it up, and then the second project was to turn it into a children's library, which are two very specific projects. And the day in, day out operation of the library is between Floyd and the librarian, with oversight from the council. So, we've got the bases covered, I think, both in day-to-day operations and in projects. And, the Friends of the Library may just absolutely cease to exist once we finish what we're doing right now. So then you've got the city manager running and the librarian running the library with the oversight from the council. And I think that's adequate.
Well, and I'll say that's the way the library operates, is that the librarian city manager oversees the operation. Now, she kind of runs things there like the street department or anything else, and she brings it back. Now, what we did there was, we had a group of people who created the Carnegie Library Foundation, and they go out and raise money. It's 501c3. They go out and raise money and put together programming beyond the programming. It's supplemental programming to what the library is doing under the city budget, and they bring in writers and they bring in people to speak and do certain things, but that's all with the approval of the quote librarian. I don't think we call her a librarian, but anyway, so that's what I say. But technically, the Carnegie's run by the city.
Yeah, I misspoke. There are some things that we would probably be involved in later on. We had the astronomy session. We talked about chess tournaments, things like that, which we would do under the auspices of the library. But we still wouldn't be involved day in, day out operation of it. And I think that's a very specific. That's a distinction that we need to keep in mind. That we have not been operating it, and we don't want to operate it.
So that would be suggesting it's turned over to the librarians?
To the Floyd, as an employee in town, and the librarian, yeah. Just set the hours and the whole bit.
So,
And coordinate with us, with the council, if there's a problem with the water, a problem with electricity, or whatever.
well, that may suffice. So I just think that there needs to be a town person, official, elected or hired, tired person, on the top of at the top.
Well, they can come to us anytime they want to. I mean, if the
So
librarian,
okay.
if the librarian, she's got a problem. I mean, if you don't think she's going to give you a list of problems, go in there.
So you're telling me that right now then, that Floyd is in charge of
Yeah.
all of that?
Yeah.
Meaning the library, the
Yeah.
money, the
Yeah.
expenses, the books,
Yeah.
totally, Floyd's totally in charge,
I
100%.
coordinated everything. I've coordinated everything we've done with Floyd
in advance.
in advance.
I'm just being sure,
No,
crossing
no.
the T's, dotting the
And
I's.
before this last project, when we were doing the cleanup, I worked directly with the mayor. And not with Don, but with the mayor.
Okay. I've only been here 2 months.
Yeah.
I was in the audience a long time, but from what I was seeing and what I'd seen this 2 months, it didn't look like anybody not counting you, Tom, because I know you've always been involved, but it didn't look like anybody in the town officially, hired or elected, was really in charge. So you're saying Floyd is in charge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
No need for an amendment.
if there's been any conflict at all, it's because I forgot to tell Floyd I was gonna do something.
Say again?
If there's ever been a conflict, it's because I've forgotten to tell Floyd that I'd
Oh, I
do
don't
something.
know that
And
there's
then-
been a conflict.
Well, there's really nothing major at all.
I'm just concerned about $27,000, and it's not, I didn't think it was getting looked at close enough.
Well, to tell you what you need to do, you need to take $27,000 and you need to go, there are 4 highlighted things up here. 2,000, 3,944, 23. Those are all part of the project, and those are going away here in the next couple of months. But then you're back to where you're around a $14,000 budget for the library, and half of that, more than half, or right at half of that is the librarian's salary, and then just utilities.
So our 2024 budget is included for 14,000? Because I don't recall, so,
Yeah, this was last year, 23.
yeah, 23, but I'm
And in
assuming,
24,
just like you said, you were to take the bow part out, it should average about the same amount,
Sure,
14,000.
sure.
So is our budget for the library for this year 14,000?
Well, let's see.
Because I didn't recall seeing that,
9, 10, 11,
about 13.
11, 12. It's 15.
So,
You can take these out.
yeah, so I was just saying, I don't recall from the last meeting that the library budget for 24 14,000.
Well, they've got the librarian salary embedded.
Yeah.
We have.
So is the water kind of like the water for
Utility,
that building?
separate bill,
And this building put together, then y'all separate it?
separate
Yeah.
bill.
So all the electricity, water, and internet
Phone,
really
internet.
wasn't a part of the library, it was in the main part, then y'all separated. You know what I'm saying?
No, we
From this building
received-
from that one.
We receive a separate bill for that location, separate electricity is broken out.
Yes, ma'am. So what's the budget for 24, 14,000? I don't recall.
I forget it without looking at it.
Yeah.
You'd have to dig it out,
Yeah,
but it's there.
that's a lot.
Well, it's one of the services we provide as a city.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's good, it's a good thing. How many, visitors do we get?
Oh, man, you're asking me operations things. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let me add something else too. And it's, I think one of the reasons that I think a lot of times public input and wider input would be available, because you know that old saying, if you build it, they will come. Everybody's heard that one. We building it and we don't know if they go come. Books, the emphasis has been largely on books, and everybody knows used to be a teacher, so books is important to me. But now young people are interested in media, internet, activities, and we used to have activities a long time ago, when Brandy was here, and she was active, and they had a lot of them, and they did have folks coming. And I'm afraid that we need to, for instance, has anybody checked with either libraries that are close by to see what the demand is now, what kids want, as opposed to what we want to give them?
Well, I'll just say, and I'm not going to speak for Tom or April, who are here, that might know better than myself, but since changing it over to a children's library, I think that the response that we've gotten from homeschool programs and a whole bunch of people has been more prevalent than it was before.
But the libraries will know what kids are checking out and what they're coming to do and see.
Right, and we'll be able to tell with the system that we have in place. We'll be able to track
Yeah.
it and see what people are checking out, and
Yeah, and to take care to address the diminishing demand from adults and older kids, seniors, high school kids, and seniors. We've got this hoopla thing coming along.
That's what I noticed, and I noticed how much it costs. That's
Well,
what
it's not.
scared the socks off of me.
That's not much money for streaming service. It really isn't.
well, you talk about what kids want or what they're going to come for, and that's going to, that's one of the things that,
We need to know that before we spend the money for it, is my point.
what do you mean?
I just think we need to find out for absolutely sure of what's going to attract the public that we're trying to get in here, the children. It may not be books, it may be something else.
Well, we've committed to changing it over to a children's library. I think we need to.
No, I'm talking about
It-
children. But anyway,
Well, I
adults-
have children. I feel like I've got a pretty good feel on what's going to bring them interest.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, and Cynthia, what kind of
Well-
stuff are your kids or your grandkids? I mean,
I mean, they like books and,
yeah,
they like, internet.
right.
But I did notice when I did go to the public library, they had a lot of DVDs, and I don't know if that is still in, but, but if you were to give the kids some maybe a little section with DVDs, that'd be great. Like the old cartoons and stuff like that, or kids movies. They could, if y'all, not big the library, I've been a while since I've been in there.
Yeah.
It might have a wall, just one wall for that. They could check out DVDs or something. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, so are we good on, everybody good on that?
I'm good.
Good? Okay, great. So, next on the agenda is public comments. Public comments? No? Okay. Okay. All right, so polling of the council. Start with you, Ms. Polly.
I think I've said enough.
You good? You sure?
Good.
Well, I was thinking.
Yeah.
A couple days ago, I was watching this older gentleman walking down the side of the road on 154 from the high school to the gas station. Have anyone ever proposed of getting sidewalks? Because I have noticed a lot of kids walk from school, and I know school will be over in maybe 4 or 5 more months, but that'd be something good that we can do if I could get a sidewalk, because they have to actually walk on the road to get down the highway. And also, I don't know which side, but I think the side that I live on now
Yeah.
would be the best side, because you have more property that you
Okay.
can take, buy from the, residents to make a sidewalk. And I think it'd be safe for the kids, and also, I even saw kids like jogging,
Yeah.
doing their after-school, I guess,
Yeah,
track team,
Yeah.
yeah. And they normally just be in my yard doing it. So if we had a sidewalk,
Yeah,
it'd be more safer for them.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, we can check into
The
that.
thought, for the last couple of years has been to start with Town Hall and expand out where you've got sidewalks now, extend them, as opposed to going up to 154 and coming down, but there, if that's where the use is,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if that's where that's where people are walking, and that's where they need to walk.
yeah.
But it's like Polly said, when you build them, they will come.
mm-hmm,
I would use the sidewalk up there,
And
and
plus
I
we
would
got
go up
the,
there.
Yeah.
got the new
just walk.
subdivision coming, it'd be good for them. I don't know if any kids, young adults be living in that part, but they also can walk and jog or something.
yeah,
Good, that's it.
Tom?
I have nothing that I can talk about out loud.
Oh, come on.
Nope, I'm fine.
All right.
I was wondering if I was gonna get polled. I had a discussion with Floyd today about I didn't have anything, but you brought up sidewalks, and Floyd was talking about our LMIG money,
Yep.
and which I believe can be applied to the construction of sidewalks. We have 2 years of LMIG money, I think you said, maybe 3 in the bank that we haven't spent. We're going to get, don't quote me, but I think he said another $7,000 this year from the LMIG grant. If we don't spend that money by the end of this calendar year, we'll actually write them a check and just give the money back. We also have ARPA money.
Yeah.
ARPA as a whole,
Different.
yeah, I don't know what you can and can't spend ARPA money on, and we're having that discussion as well. It's really not very clear what you can, but you have the LMIG money and the ARPA money in addition to the other funds we get, like SPLOST and things in the budget that potentially could go towards, I know we've talked about striping
Yeah.
in downtown, but, that's an idea to potentially pursue is, to continue to expand our, all this money has to go back at the end of the calendar year.
Yeah.
If we don't find a way
How
to,
much is
if we
it
don't
right
find
now?
projects to spend.
17,000.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we
that sounds,
had,
Right now, we have
$14,906
to spend by the end of the year, and then
Another.
we just got approved for another, for 2024, so this is not in addition to the funds that need to be spent by the end of the year, but this is for 2024, so I think that's,
they-
it's, about 7,000,
yeah.
a little over
that sounds
7,000.
right. And
Yeah.
they would need to be spent, is it 3 years or 1 year?
3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
And that's what drove the idea of doing it piecemeal. Because you've got, 5,000 now, and you've got 7,000 coming, and you got 2,000 left over, and you just keep doing
Going,
that.
good look at that, you go.
Matching it up with the LMIG money. And there are other things we get that are time sensitive too.
and yeah, that's all the only reason I bring it up is because we do need to find projects like that this year that we get moving on, or,
Yeah.
Well, look at it.
or we'll
Yeah.
lose the money and just send it back, so.
Let me ask you a question, and this is probably not the place to get into it, but, if you extend the sidewalk on Main from Tarrentine over to where you're crossing from Polly's house to go to the post office, that's one project. But you're talking about a lot of money to run from the high school
I know.
back
No, that's a
down
lot
to
of- yeah.
154,
Yeah.
or down to 54, or down that whole length. So, that's something you'd have to decide as a group. Do you want to spend a bunch of money, or do you want to, continue to do, pieces of it?
When you
Well, I
say
think-
pieces of it, what do you mean?
Well,
Like
if
a small-
you've got 14,000 of,
Oh, you mean part of the money?
Yeah, if you got $15,000 you have to spend, or it's gonna be turned back in, go ahead and extend your sidewalk, that much. And you can, maybe 100 yards of sidewalk is $50,000. I'm just
Yeah,
pulling
How
numbers
much
out
said
of the
that
air.
again?
And I just pulled a number out of the air.
Yeah.
So that's nothing like near real?
No, well, I don't know what's real.
Well, you sounded like you usually talk about.
Your
Oh,
time
I'm
just
sorry.
passed. We have
You could fool me.
comments from the.
All right, April.
A conversation that I was a part of this past week, there are actual people that will find towns grants, and one of the conversations that I heard was that there are grants out there for sidewalks, like specifically for sidewalks, and there are companies out there that we can approach and tell them what kind of grants we're looking for, and then they actually go out and find them for us. Now, sometimes, of course, there is a fee to them doing that, but we don't pay them directly. They take a percentage of the grant, as their payment, but they will basically headhunt it for Sharpsburg. So that's another
Sounds
way
like a
to
project,
get
Al.
funds
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
Mr.
Well,
Bailey.
12 Parks has been in a lot of sidewalks
Yeah,
too.
they are.
I'll be, and 12 Parks too, you know, so we'll see how much foot traffic that neighborhood kind of has going inside of it, but is that 11 homes that are in the city limits? I mean, they're basically our next door neighbors.
Yeah.
I think you could potentially see a lot of increased foot traffic from that over the next 5, 10 years, you know, that might make the sidewalks valuable.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they would be valuable now, except for people just out for a walk. But at some point in time, when the DDA gets going, people are gonna use the sidewalks to go to the corner store.
Well, yeah.
Well, I just think it's safe for the kids.
Yeah. No, I
Because a lot
agree.
of teenagers be walking,
It's probably not a
Yeah.
safe
yeah.
highway to walk on.
Yeah, because they're actually in the road walking.
Yeah.
Like,
And they speed through there too,
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
including me.
Should I read the administrator's report? Or
You want me to read it?
it's
That's
up to
fine.
you.
It's okay.
So Floyd, he has on his administrator's report, the librarian reports that all the books have been scanned into the new library system and software. The librarian is going to be working on a temporary basis, working on bids and proposals to demolish the Beckham House. Obtain quotes for approval of striping on Main Street in Tarrentine, that's the LMIG potential project that we discussed that has to happen before the end of the year. Obtain quotes for cameras and security. Obtain quotes for repurposing the community center floors.
Back up, what was the one just before that?
Obtain quotes for cameras and security.
What's wrong with what we've got?
They don't work.
They don't work.
They're not working.
Again?
Yeah.
Or still?
Well, they don't, have they ever worked completely?
We've had problems on and off with them, and then with all these problems up and down the street with the electrical, they haven't worked in a few months.
Well, that'll be a good time to add in the audio stuff. You thought I was gonna forget that.
Obtain quotes for codifying ordinances, that's one of the things that we can use the ARPA funds for potentially. And obtain quotes for the parking spaces, handicap parking, and the bumpers in the town hall parking lot. And he notes that the librarian has experience in getting quotes for all these things.
Say that one again, what she's got.
Floyd notes that the librarian has experience getting quotes
Oh,
for
I
all
thought
these
you were
things.
talking about the library's experience.
No,
Okay, got it.
yeah. The librarian requests to do this from home. And, let's see, the librarian is gonna provide Floyd with a time frame of expected schedule and time frame on completed project on removing the house and report back to Floyd.
So, I guess I wasn't here for 2 years, so we're gonna try to belt the house down?
Yeah,
it's not sellable.
unfortunately.
Foundation's broken.
So, oh, we bought it for, so this got the land, right?
So, and then the other part of his notes is the LMIG, what we just discussed. From years 21 to 2023, we've got a total of $14,906 to spend by the end of the year. And the town is required to pay 30% of those costs, so we match the projects. For instance, he says if the invoice is $100, the LMIG pays $70 and the town pays $30. He received notification today that the 2024 LMIG grant has been approved. The amount of the grant is uncertain, but likely around $7,000, and we'll have to tell Floyd thank you and good job because this is the first time he submitted a grant and it got approved. So we're proud of him for that.
We found our grant writer.
Absolutely. So he said that the awarded funds should be paid within 10 business days. I'll move to the mayor's updates because he has on here. The Christmas tree is going to be, there was a death in the family, so it's going to be out of here soon. And then the audit, the Malden and Jenkins is going to conduct our annual audit the first week of March. So,
Is it accountant?
yes. That's all I have. Julie, you have anything?
Nope, I think you covered it all.
All right.
I'll move that we adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second it.
No. Alex made a motion. Tom seconded. All in favor? All right. You ready to go?
Hey, tell Mary I like the
Don't
sushi
tell
stuff
Mary.
you told me.
So Tom,
Hey, don't
you want
believe
this back
nothing
or
he
you want me to borrow it?
You can just borrow and look at it.
Okay.
Keep in mind, the sewer system is basically gravity. And you got to put the window in.